the ability for them to become assistants in the establishment of a full-on police state and of fully established fascism becomes exponentially higher. So when the media follows the current pathways that they have of carrying on the corporate narratives of the majority of protests being violent, harmful, of destroying property, of being riots, as we've all heard, even though there was a statistic that came out that it was 93% of the peaceful, 93% of the protests across the country have been peaceful. And let me get something straight. I am fine if every single one was burning something to the ground, but it is a matter of the fact that 93% of them were peaceful, but the narrative across this country still pertains that they were all riots. And this power, in turn, allows them to control the public opinion of those who are not directly affected by the issues that are being protested here. And in our instance, in our case, right here in Seattle, that means in Eastside King County, we're one of the largest wealth pockets in the world, where Bellevue, Washington, at one point was one of the highest per capita millionaire rate cities in the entire world, top 5. For them to be able to control the opinion of those who are not affected by these issues is the power for them to control the capital in this city, in this area. And the ability to control the capital and the flow of capital throughout the region is the direct ability to control the flow of power throughout the region. And when we're looking at what we expect from KOMO, we've already established that we want them out of the Sinclair broadcasting group and stop representing the Fox Media conglomerate, whatever the hell you want to call it. I would also like to bring right my incredibly low expectations for KOMO. How little I expect them to change. What they've shown to me to make me believe that. A lot of us, we may be removed from it now, but we remember the days before CHOP. We remember that barricade down by Cal Anderson where we were getting gas for 6 hours a night. We remember those clouds of smoke carrying on through entire residential neighborhoods, and we remember that KOMO was not representing that as the real times it was. They weren't talking about the families that had to put gun assault inside their house because SPD doesn't know how to control the crowd. They don't know that these fascist little agents of the state are happy as hell to start hitting people. We've all seen that video a day or two ago of them running over that man's neck. Is that a system we can fix? Is that a system we can reform? And to go from that, I would also like to bring on the intentional, very intentional means that they have brought upon helping the city control which community leaders have been presented and are representing this movement. Their continued assistance elevating people like Rassimo when there are so many people who have been on the ground working for decades in this. They wanted to do it on purpose. What? If you got an umbrella, we would like you over here real quick. Just real quick. I need some water. Yeah, I need. That's basically my entire spiel. The only way that I'll expect or believe that KOMO will change is by them actually taking the action to do so, because the enacted the objective harm that they have done has been done. And for them to undo that, it would be an active effort from here on out. That's all I got.
Hey, everyone, safety tip. There are people filming up there, and if you don't want your identity known, now is the time to put on all your block. That's what block is for, so that they don't know who we are, they can't identify us. So put on your mask, put on your hoods, put on whatever you need to feel safe, and make sure that the right-wing scum that is KOMO does not know who you are, because no one wants that.
Oh, one last thing. They've shown us who they are. We don't need to give these people the benefit of the doubt no more. They have shown us exactly who they are and their intentions. Keep that in mind every single time you interact with them or while we are present in their space.
Thank you so much, Ethan. Let's give it up. Yes, and stop KOMO. Okay. So, our next speaker isn't here yet, but do we have a representative from Defund SPD here to speak? Do we? No. Oh, Batania, where are you? Oh, okay. Next up, we're gonna have Sean Scott. Actually, that was hectic. Okay, thank you so much.
All right, how's it going, y'all? I want to take a second and give it up for all of our organizers, those who helped make this event go off, helped this rally go off, this march go off. So we're here protesting for what's right. Can we give them a round of applause real fast? So I think it's obviously pretty clear that we're in a situation or a position where we have been relying on truly community-oriented media for more than we probably have in years past. Right now, we're living through a pandemic. We have a new civil rights movement, the threat of ecological collapse, which hasn't gone anywhere in the middle of all of that. And in the same time, this is all happening in the context of a really contested, incredibly high-stakes presidential election, right? So that's why I think it's important for us to remember that at the same time we're protesting Tribune Media and KOMO for what they've been complicit in, we also have to celebrate community journalists that have been on the ground covering these protests, covering the movement for Black Lives, which otherwise wouldn't be getting much of a very fair airing in the court of public opinion if it weren't for the work that they're doing. Many of those journalists have been subject to the same kinds of police injustices and the same kinds of police violence that a lot of us who are abolitionists, people who don't believe in the carceral state and think it should be defunded, have been subjected to for years. When we see on social media journalists being forced to disperse, by the Seattle Police Department, we have to recognize that the free and ability to access information that's actually fair is really part of a larger struggle for winning people over to the position of defunding the Seattle Police Department and embracing a future that has community care and not carceral policies for our most marginalized people, right? Seattle, once upon a time, we were the city that actually had what people consider to be a pioneering role in the information revolution, right? With the internet, all of that was the private capitalization of public funding that went into the defense sector. So when we see people checking our social media, using iPhones, all of that is technology that started at a much earlier point with public investment. And I think some of the misdeeds that we've seen KOMO and Tribune be up to, it really necessitates the need for more public investment in media at this point. Right now, the city of Seattle actually maintains what are called cable franchise agreements with some of the largest telecom companies in the world. When we negotiate those telecom fees, that money goes towards things like the Seattle Channel or to University of Washington Television. I think it's really, really time right now for us to be thinking about what it would look like to have a more robust media infrastructure in the city, what it would be like for us to invest in public municipal broadband so that so many communities that are stuck at home during this pandemic right now can have access to reliable internet. What would it look like to have publicly available or public media, publicly funded media, so that we're not subject to sort of the vicissitudes of the market and ups and downs and the closings of newsrooms that we've seen at this point. So it's really, really important for me to always think about, it's not an anti-protest, right? We're marching in favor of policies that we need to see happen. We need to be marching in favor of all these policies at the same time that we're marching against what the Trump-owned Tribune Media and other media outlets like them represent. So I'm happy to see so many young people here because I think there are a lot of people who are members of older generations, maybe even a few millennials, I don't know, who have gotten really jaded on the political process, but we're here to show that better is actually possible, that better is actually worth fighting for, and that we're going to win one way or the other. It's going to be maybe a longer fight than we wanted it to be or expected it to be, but in the end, our point of view is the one that's right, and so we're going to prevail. So thanks, everybody, for making it out here.
Thank you so much. Okay, just remember, if you have an umbrella, help our redecorators. And right now we're going to have Batania. Are you here? Thank you so much. We're going to have Batania come up here and do some spoken word for y'all. Hi, what's up, y'all? So I'm going to share a poem that I wrote a week ago and then updated after the indictments didn't happen for Breonna Taylor a couple of days ago. It was about a month ago that we were protesting in Bellevue singing happy birthday to Breonna in hopes of her getting justice, but
Unfortunately, we weren't surprised when the indictment came out, and so this is in honor of that. In Louisville, Kentucky, the 3 leading causes of death among African Americans is heart disease, cancer, and pulmonary disease, all of them lung-related, caused by smoking, not the ones puffed, but the ones bought and sold, pumping pollution into the air, silently choking every black child throughout the doorsteps of every hospital saying, "Doctor, I can't breathe." In Louisville, Kentucky, coal plants sit at the background of barbecues and pick up basketball games, streamline the same pipes from Flint, Michigan, till everything from the water to the soil is poisoned, till everything in their pipelines pollute our bloodlines. Until a black father dies 10 years before he was supposed to, because a county stands too loose tall to believe in climate change. These trailing hungry mouths as the factory he lives next to replaces just another worker. See, in Louisville, Kentucky, racism kills black folk. Whether it's the round of bullets emptied into Brianna's body or the poison gas pumped into our lungs, we aren't alive enough to matter while we can still breathe. So when a country tells us we can't be the victims of our own murder trials, we say, we know. Wonder how these lungs who so badly want to breathe in a future can be the ones killing us. How a corporation's pocket can get so heavy while stepping on our necks. In our neighborhoods, the trees are already gone. The smoke has kept the sun away for years. Our mothers cry to the pace of a countdown. In our neighborhoods, the most blackest of things here is to die a seed and bloom from the industrial machines. Our ribs holding the most fertile of things, the desire to breathe free. Our bodies are a garden of revolution, a reminder that each death is irreversible. From the mountains to the reefs, for Kenosha and Atlanta, for Breonna Taylor and Trayvon Martin, may they rest in peace. We deserve to walk freely, to live holy, and be magical, not making the mess of the most sorrowful of things, but because we deserve to live like true human beings. From escaping the bullets all the way to saving the seas. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Okay, we are gonna have Sky Dior come back up here, and y'all remember. Okay.
KOMO4, not Markovich. No, we don't want to hear from him. No, not Markovich is here.
Okay, y'all.
Do you know who Matt Markovich is? Do you know who Matt Markovich is? Who here knows who Matt Markovich is? He said send for your shoe.
Okay, so Ethan, do you want to say something?
Hey, this is our event. Don't let this guy get to you. We're here for our message. We're not here for his message. He can yell all he wants. He gets to just like we get to, but we don't have to listen to a thing he says.
So we're back. Sky wants to perform for you guys. She wants to do her next single. It's called I Like That. At first she was just a little bit scared because this gentleman over here, but I can let her know that no, we are the majority.
You guys? Okay. No, I just want a chance. I want a chance. I deserve a chance.
Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. No peace. Police. No peace. Police.
Bullshit. I want to perform. I'm going to talk about real issues. De la ciencia.
Pizza, yeah, I like that. That's my vibe, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Milkshake, apple pie, yeah, I like that. Pizza, yeah, I like that. That's my vibe, yeah, I like that. I just want some fries, yeah, I like that. Milkshake, apple pie, yeah, I like this. See, Burger King, you make it dish. Chipotle and Subway, yeah, I have you Wendy's. Friendly, they keep the rest. On the road, at home, I always want to eat. If I can't find a deal, make sure I want to go sing. These overdose so much, you'll put my bag on me. So I come through already, I keep for all my things. Let's go. Extra cover, I got cupcakes, need extra fries, big bites, all messed up, like this, and buns. There's some money to turn it, so I turn around, I come back, you better and I come back. I'm in some out my drink, I'm a grand roll from down the street. Now I'm satisfied, take you off, cause I'm making money. I love some pizza, yeah, I like that. Ride, that's my ride, yeah, I like that. I just love some guys, yeah, I like that. Milkshake, apple pie, yeah, I like that. Pizza, yeah, I like that. Pie, that's my vibe, yeah, I like that. Fries, yeah, I like that. Milkshake, apple pie, yeah, I like that. Numbers for business. You're just not for promotions. Don't let my dominoes. $7-11 from my puppy. I want all that. You're not doing extra cheese. I need all the sauce. Give me my pick, please. I got one sauce. Let me see, baby, wait. I like the world. You eat them every day. That's true sex. Yeah, I want everything on it. Let's some onion, there's some onion, and hit different units. I got a double fries. No, that don't change my life. I'm touching cookies, pistols with some water eyes. I tell them we water and always want to eat. Not just all I see, you make sure my pizza great. Pizza, yeah, I like that. Pizza on the side, that's my vibe, yeah, I like that. Fries, yeah, I like that. Milkshake, apple